السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وأنما هم فيه من رحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. وفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد. صدق الله العلي العظيم. It's a continuation from where we stopped yesterday, from the 13th verse of Surah Al-Baqarah. That's where we are starting from today, inshallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yesterday we have been discussing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting the affair of the munafiqeen open, and also discussing about their character for two wisdoms. Yani, number one is for the mu'mineen, the believers, to know about the characters of the munafiqeen, so that they be aware of them. And number two is for the believers still to work hard, not to have the characters of the munafiqeen. You know, when the scholars discuss about the hadith of Rasulullah, when he says ayatul munafiq thalatha, that the signs of a munafiq, of a hypocrite, is there are three signs of them. Then he says إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا أؤتمن خان. The scholars, they say these signs that Rasulullah is giving is not for people to judge one another. Like you see me lying, may Allah forbid, and then you tell me I am munafiq. Yani, the scholars, they say these signs usually Rasulullah has given them for the believers to be aware of the characters of the munafiqeen, not to have them, to work hard, not to have those signs. Yani. So it's for the individual people and individual persons, for them to work hard, not to have those signs, but not to go out and judge people. You hear someone lying once, or you hear someone has betrayed an amana once or twice, then you say you are munafiq directly. Yani. The issue to do with nifaq is the issue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. He knows, and He's the one who is telling Rasulullah, unless you tell me there is a revelation coming to you that Allah is telling you this person is a munafiq, you will never know who is a munafiq or not. Yani. So it's for us individually not to judge people, but for us to work hard, not to have them, to sharpen our iman, for us to know which characters is a munafiq character and which character is a believer character. And the way Ustad bin Zaman Said Nursi, he mentions in his books that a mu'min can have characters of a disbeliever, and a disbeliever can have the character of a mu'min. When he was asked about the matter where some disbelievers, they are very nice people, they are giving sadaqat, helping people, very humble people. You can meet a lot of disbelievers having these good characters. And also sometimes you can meet Muslims, believers, and who people hate them, like because of their characters. Yani. They are harsh, they are stingy, they are not very good to their families, very bad when it comes to their relationship with other people. And so you can find such kind of Muslims or believers. Yani. So this a Muslim who is carrying with him characters of a disbeliever or character of a munafiq, and the other one is a disbeliever or a munafiq carrying a character of a believer. Yani. So you will never know who is a munafiq, who is a believer. Yani. So Rasulullah, he says these signs, the way scholars they explain, is for the people individually to work hard, not to have them, but not to go out and start judging people. Yani. So, and that's why he said, Umar, until he died, he always had that thing in the heart, asking Abu Hudayfa, always, am I among the munafiqeen? Am I among the munafiqeen? Yani. Said Umar himself used to, have doubts about himself. Yani. And this is understanding of Sayyidina Umar, that the sign that Rasulullah gave about munafiqeen, it was for a person to judge himself, not to judge other people. And that's why he never went out and told and talked about anyone being a munafiq. Yani. He just was focused on himself. Yani. And that's why he used to go to Abu Hudayfa to tell Abu Hudayfa, at least tell me, am I among them? So let us not take these characters that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the munafiqeen in these verses and starting looking at other people, whether they have these characters or not, so that we might judge them or put the attributes of nifaq on them. Yani. But let us look at this character and check if we have them or not individually. Like me, as Muhammad Maulana, do I have these characters or don't I have? If I have them, then I need to worry about myself. I need myself, yani, and I need to work hard to remove those characters in me so that I remain a pure believer. So another character Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining in the 13th verse. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسُ قَالُوا أَنُؤْمِنُ كَمَا آمَنَ السُّفَهَاءُ أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ السُّفَهَاءُ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. When it is told to them, believe just like the way people have believed. They say, should we believe like the way ignorant people have believed? Should we be like the ignorant people who having these beliefs? Yani? So this is also very applying in our world. Yani. We know the way Rasulullah he mentions in the hadith, بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا فطوبى للغرباء, that Islam started very strange, as a strange thing, yani, and it's going to be a strange thing again. And then Rasulullah says, yani, glad tidings to the people who are strange in the end times. Yani. So during the time of Rasulullah in Medina and in Mecca also, the believers were seen as strange people who are ignorant, people who are, they don't understand realities, people who are really behind the world and the trends. Yeah. So the believers were seen as people who are behind, people who are ignorant, sufaha, who are not understanding realities of matters. Yeah. And this is how it was, yani, during that time. So the munafiqeen used to look at the believers as people who are behind the trends, people who don't understand, yani, people who are ignorant. So Islam is going to go back again to that situation where real Muslims, believers, are going to be seen as people who are strange, who are not understanding things, who are not on the trend of the way the world is going. Yani. For example, right now, if I give an example, how is the world going right now, for example? And a normal youth is someone who is posting himself or herself on TikTok. If you don't do that, you are strange. Why are you not doing that? Someone who is scrolling, for example, on Instagram or TikTok, or someone who is wasting time on social media, those are normal people. If you don't do that, you are strange. You are the odd one out here. Now, this is how the Muslims were during that time, and that's how the real believers are going to be in the end times where we are right now. Yeah. So someone giving a lot of money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be seen as a very strange person. But same person spending the same amount of money to just buy alcohol for people, or mirat, khat, yani, for people, that is very normal. We know a lot of stories, yani, people getting money out of nowhere, and they just go to the bases where people are just chewing mira, and he buys for all the friends, and everyone is cheering up, everyone is happy, and no one is seeing the person as an odd one out or something else. Yani. But if a person spends, for example, half of the money right now in this world, half of their money, a third of their money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to teach people for that project, to this project, then many people will be looking at that person as a strange person. Why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your money in those causes? Yani? So this is a believer, an nifaq, a munafiq character, where you see people who are spending their time, their knowledge, their money, their everything in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see them as strange people. You don't see them as a normal thing. This is what should be done, yani. And what are you going to do with your money in places where it's going to help you later on? Actually, the believers are the ones who are usually the smart people. The people who are spending their time for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're the ones who are smart. The people who are spending their money, their resources, their knowledge, their wisdom, their experiences, their anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make them eternal in the hereafter, those are the people who are smart. Yani, imagine a person who is just leaving their friends because their friendship is not eternal. Their friendship is not built on, deen, on giving advices about religion. How many friends in this world right now are advising one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yani, guiding people to the hereafter, to Jannah. Yani. How many people in this world are doing that? And how many people are advising one another in matters to do with this world, in matters to do with business, matters to do with that and this, yani. How many people? And it is very little among the friends who are spending time advising one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, building their akhirah. Very little. And that's how the believers, they were during the time of Rasulullah. And they were seen as ignorant people who don't understand. And that's what we have come to in this world right now. Very few people also, they are like the way believers used to live, the Sahabas of Rasulullah during that time. Yani. So the munafiqeen, one of their characters, they used to look at the believers, their iman, their actions, the way they used to give whatever they have for the sake of this religion as something which is ignorance, as something which doesn't make sense. So when they are told, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسِ, when they are told that believe the way the people have believed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mentioned an-nas, the people, specific people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the Sahabas of that time. Yani, the way the Sahabas of Rasulullah, the way they used to believe. Yani, Hassan al-Basri, I think, if I'm not wrong, he used to say that if the believers of that time, if they used to see the believers, the Sahabas, yani, they would say those Sahabas are crazy. And if the Sahabas are going to see the Tabi'in, they are going to say these people are not believers. Yani. So the Sahabas of that time, Allah SWT is giving them as an example. If you want to live our life as believers, we need to look at the Sahaba. Those are our examples. Yani. And that Allah is saying in this ayah, yani, Aminu kama amana nas, believe the way these people have believed. The people who are believing in that time, the Sahabas, they are the ones who are believing. Yani. So Allah SWT is telling us to take the Sahabas as an example when we want to live our lives. Yani. How are Sahabas living? Then we need to learn their lives, and then we need to apply whatever we learn from the Sahabas' life in our lives. Yani. So Allah is like a commandment here. Allah is telling us right now also, not only to the munafiqeen, even to us, that we need to believe the way the Sahabas used to believe. Yani, those are the people who really believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people who, people who are thinking they are ignorant, people who are thinking they are crazy in their belief. Yani. But now the answer of the munafiqeen is that قالوا, they say, أَنُؤْمِنُ كَمَا آمَنَ السُّفَهَاء. They used to look at the Sahabas as ignorant people. But we should not look at the Sahabas as ignorant people, as people who are backwards. Yani. And we need to look at the Sahabas as the hierarchy, at the top of the hierarchy, where we need to look at as examples for our life. Yeah. So, Allah innahum humus sufaha, Allah is giving an answer to whatever they are saying. Humus sufaha, they are the people who are ignorant. The smart people are the ones who are making their life in this world eternal. They are the people who understand that this world is not eternal. You are going to die. That money that you are having is going to go. The life you are having is going to go. The knowledge you are having is going to go. The experience you are having doesn't matter anything if you are going to go to hell. Yani. The people who understand this, they are the smart people. But people who don't understand this, they are the ignorant people. Now Allah SWT is saying that the munafiqeen who don't understand this matter, the reality of this world, reality of the hereafter, they are the ones who are sufaha. They are the ones who are ignorant. وَلَكِنْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But they don't understand. They don't know. And for someone to know about the hereafter, you need to have that aql. You need to have that, you need to be not ignorant. You need to have the knowledge. For you to know these issues, that what matters is the hereafter, you need to have the knowledge. You need to have the understanding. Now, a person who understands the reality of this world, reality of this life, and a person who doesn't understand the reality of this life, who is ignorant? A person who is spending his money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spending his time, spending his knowledge for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a person who has understood reality of this life. And a person who is not doing that is a person who has not understood the reality of this life. Between the two, the ignorant is the person who has not understood. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the munafiqeen who are thinking about the believers to be ignorant, they are the ones who are ignorant because they don't understand the reality of this life. They don't understand their ends, where they are going. So Allah SWT is giving an answer straightforward, that those people who think of the believers as ignorant, they are the ones who are ignorant, because they are the ones who don't capture the reality of the matter. So may Allah SWT make us believe like the way the Sahabas used to believe. May Allah SWT remove us from the illusions. May Allah SWT make us understand the reality of this life, the reality of our ends. And then another character, Allah is saying, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and when they meet the believers, قَالُوا آمَنَّا, they say, we are like you. we also understand the reality of the matters. We have believed also the way you have believed. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ But when they go to their shaitans, to their devils, قَالُوا They say, إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ We are with you. إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ We just play around. And, you know, the scholars, they mention about this, a story where Abdullah ibn Salul, Ibn Ubayy ibn Salul, once upon a time, he told his fellow munafiqeen, hypocrites, that I'm going to play around with the believers. Then he went and he found Sayyidina Baqarah anhu, Sayyidina Umar anhu, and Sayyidina Ali anhu together somewhere. And then he went to Sayyidina Baqarah and said, MashaAllah, you are the number one believer. MashaAllah, you are the two in the cave. You are this, playing around with them. And then he turned to Sayyidina Umar telling them, MashaAllah, you are the Faruq. Shaitan is running away from you. Doing that, and he praised Sayyidina Umar. And then he told Sayyidina Ali, you know, you are the cousin of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu. You are this and that. You open Khaybar. They were mentioning about the things that those Sahabas did, to show that we are with you. But he already told his munafiqs and friends that I'm just playing around with them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like telling the believers and Rasulullah what the munafiqeen are doing. They just come to you, show themselves that they are like you, but in real matters they're just playing around with you. They're just doing istihza with you. And this is one of the verses where scholars, they say munafiqeen are worse than the disbelievers. Because munafiqeen, apart from disbelieving in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, apart from disbelieving in Rasulullah, apart from disbelieving about akhirah and those issues, they even play around with them. These are more, it's a worse thing than just disbelieving. A person might not believe, there's no problem in that. It doesn't make sense to me, I don't believe. But a person to come and play around now, doing istihza with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing istihza with Rasulullah, that is worse than a person who just doesn't believe. So munafiqeen, they don't believe, and at the same time they also do istihza with it. They also play around with these issues. This shows how deep of a matter of disbelief it is in their hearts. So they say, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا When they meet the believers, they say, we have believed. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قَالُوا When they are alone. خَلَوْ means when they are alone now. They go to their devils. And the devils here, the scholars, they mention, number one, devil can be disbelievers, because the Quraysh in Mecca and other disbelievers knew that they are munafiqeen in Medina. They knew about it, and that's how they planned the Khandaq, the Ghazwat al-Khandaq. The Battle of Khandaq was planned with the information that there are munafiqeen inside in Medina, and they knew about it. So shayatinihim, their devils here mean the disbelievers, the Quraysh and other tribes who are disbelievers, whom they were plotting against Rasulullah with. So these are their devils. They come to the believers, they say, we are with you, and then they go to the disbelievers, saying to them that we are not with them. We're just playing around with them, we're just doing istihza with them, we are with you actually. And another way of understanding the shayateen here, devils, is that scholars, they say, the small munafiqeen, the small ones, they go to the believers showing themselves as believers, and then when they go to the heads of the munafiqeen, they say, we are just playing around with the believers, actually we are with you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the word here, shayatinihim, they are devils. We understand this word as devil, the word devil in this verse, from another verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, shayatin al-jinni wal-ins, yuhi ba'duhum ila ba'din zukhruf al-qawli ghurura. Allah is mentioning about the munafiqeen also at the same time, that even the disbelievers, they have devils from the jinn, meaning shaitan, wal-ins, and also from the humans. They are devils from the humans, and they are devils from the jinn. So devils from the jinn, the shaitan now, and devils from the humans, disbelievers and the munafiqeen. And this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning very clearly that shaitan is not that specific iblis. Shaitan is a title given to anyone. It can be given to a jinn. When it is given to a jinn, that is the types of iblis now, who are doing the work as shaitan. So who is shaitan? Shaitan is a person who is working hard to take people away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan is a title given to a person, anyone who is doing his best to take people away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whether it is from the jinn, that is the example of Iblis, or from the humans, that's the example of the disbelievers who are working towards that, or the munafiqeen. So shaitan is a title, it's not a name for anyone, it's a title. Yeah. And that's Allah is using that title here. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ, when they go and be alone with their shaitan, with the people who have that title, then they say these things. قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ, we are with you. إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ, we are just playing around with the believers, we're just playing around with the iman, we're just playing around with the Quran, we're just playing around with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallam, hasha lillah. So these are characters of a munafiq. Here they say this, and there they say this. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also mentions about this, where they are just in between. Allah is saying, مُذَبْذَبِينَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ لَا إِلَهَ هَؤُلَاء وَلَا إِلَهَ هَؤُلَاء. They are just in between. They are going here and there. مُذَبْذَبِينَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ لَا إِلَهَ هَؤُلَاء. They are not among the believers. وَلَا إِلَهَ هَؤُلَاء. Nor are they among the disbelievers. Because disbelievers, they fight openly with Rasulullah. Openly. They go kill the Sahabas, they go do that and that. But they are not doing it. So they are not like the disbelievers. And also they are not like Muslims. The believers, yeah. So they are not Muslims, nor are they disbelievers. So where are they? They are munafiqeen. They have their own title. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions about their title in Yawm al-Qiyamah, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ وَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُمْ نَصِيرًا. Surely it is for the hypocrites that they are going to be having the lowest of the pits of the hellfire. The lowest, yeah, of the pits of the hellfire. Allah has prepared for the munafiqeen, yani, for the hypocrites. So from these verses, two verses, we learn the characters of the munafiqeen. I'm going to stop here for today. Inshallah, let us continue from here tomorrow from the I think 14th verse, where we continue from the characters of the munafiqeen, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the nifaq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us true believers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us believers together with the characters of believers, and not believers carrying one or two characters of a disbeliever, or believers who carry with them one or two characters of disbelievers, or hypocrites. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us believers with the characters of believers 100%, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. If you have questions, we are going to have 2-3 minutes for the questions, and then we move on, inshallah. We call it a session. We meet tomorrow, inshallah. So if there are no questions, let us meet tomorrow, inshallah, the continuation of the verse. We are going to start from the 14th verse, inshallah. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.